Hey everybody, it's me, Shell360. Thank you for joining me on another live stream. Before we get into any of the meat and potatoes of this live stream, I feel obligated, just from my own conscience, to issue an apology about the last live stream I did. I privated the last live stream I did. It was regarding someone who I blocked from my channel, blocked from Twitter, and also blocked from Instagram recently. And I'm apologizing not because I didn't mean any of the things I said. I'm apologizing because I should not have said that person's name, because I also revealed some private information about their familial situation, and that was an asshole move on my part. Honestly, that was uncalled for, and I didn't need to do that. If I was going to do that, I should have made sure not to mention that person's name. So I'm not going to mention it again here. Like I said, that video has been privated, so that is that. I did, however, private the video only because if there's any issues coming up in the future, I don't want to have that footage deleted. I want to keep it where it is in case I need to use it. Not that I feel like this person is a danger to me at the current time, but I'm just saying I wanted to keep record of what I said and everything else, but I should not have mentioned their name. That was bad on my part, and if I was going to mention their name, I should have kept information about their family private, so I really apologize for that one. But in the aftermath of that, I did get a message from that person on Instagram, which is why they are now deleted or blocked on Instagram, asking, well, not asking, but saying that they wish that I had approached them and told them that I needed space. And that was part of the reason why I blocked them on Instagram, because as I stated in that video, I don't need space from you because we aren't close. So the idea of asking someone who I'm not close to give me space, to me, seems ludicrous. But again, a misunderstanding about what our relationship is would obviously lead to that conclusion. So wanted to apologize about the disclosure issue. That was wrong on my part, but I stand by every single other thing I said. So now that I've said that, and by the way, I just want to put it to you guys too, I'm not giving this apology because someone told me I had to apologize. In fact, I can tell you the genesis of this apology. I was feeling really shitty about it after I did the video, and I was talking to Mason after we filmed our Sunday vlog, and I said, hey, this is what I'm feeling. What do you think? He confirmed feelings I was having. And then I decided to make this apology. So just want to put that out there. It wasn't because anybody else gave me feedback. It was what I felt I needed to do. So there you go. Now, let's just have a chat. I have this Korean roasted barley tea from Trader Joe's. Hopefully it is good. But I want to chat with you guys because there's a lot of goings on in the K-pop sphere, and also Stephanie's not here, so it's a good time to talk. Not that I wouldn't talk if Stephanie was here, but she is out celebrating birthday day in our family. So in our family, we have 3 different members who have a birthday today. And Stephanie is out celebrating with the oldest member of our family, so that's why she's not here. She went on a road trip. But I think the most important thing that we need to talk about is disco. Disco. Now, I don't know much about K-pop prior to second gen. I know a couple of first gen acts. I've heard a couple of first gen songs, but I really don't know much about K-pop before second gen. I know even less about K-pop from the 70s and 80s. However, as an American, I know a lot about disco. Disco is one of my favorite musical genres of all time, if not my absolute favorite. I think R&B probably is still competing for number 1, but like when it comes to disco, you have pure disco like Gloria Gaynor, I Will Survive, Donna Summer, a lot of that type of disco. But then you have every musical genre that comes off of disco, which includes house music, which includes your favorites, dubstep, EDM, the like. Even certain pop music that has its roots in disco. Disco is a huge genre, and it's really important, especially because as a member of a marginalized community, a black woman, disco originated out of gay clubs, black nightclubs, black dance clubs. So this really is a part of my musical heritage. And disco and K-pop are coming together because if you have not seen the snippet from BTS's Dynamite teaser, we're discoing, baby. We're totally discoing, and I'm super excited. I love disco. I love disco with my whole entire heart. When I was a teenager in the 90s, I used to listen to the oldie station, just hoping they would play some of my favorite disco songs. I used to love watching Saturday Night Fever. I used to love watching movies from the 70s. I love disco. And as a person who is a appreciator of gay and queer media, disco. One of my favorite movies when I was in high school and in college was Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. Best scene in that entire movie is the finale scene where they do all the choreography to CeCe Peniston's Finally. Second best scene is in big flower wigs with bell bottoms lip syncing to I Will Survive in the middle of the Australian outback. So disco is huge. So today, BTS came out with the teaser for their new single Dynamite, which I have already pre-ordered. There was a link to pre-order a vinyl and a cassette tape for this, which I feel like a dumbass. I really, really do. Because if you look at the artwork for Dynamite and you look at the fact that they did a vinyl and a cassette, it's clear that they were going for a retro throwback concept. Didn't catch it at all. Why? Because who in the world would equate BTS with disco? Like, tell me where it fits. Tell me where it fits. Especially when you have a group that is a lot more rapper driven than a lot of other groups are. Like, there is rapping disco. For instance, there's the Sugar Hill Gang, Rapper's Delight. That was one of the first mainstream rap songs, and it has a disco background to it. So yeah, disco and rap music have known each other for a really long time. Rapture by Blondie has a rap verse in it, and it is considered a disco song. So yeah, disco and rap do go together, but I just would have never put it together with BTS. And because I would have never put it together with BTS, I was surprised on what I heard. The teaser that I heard sounds very disco. Sounds very disco. And I almost feel like I should be taking bets about, like, is this album gonna be super disco? Is that what we're looking at here? I don't know. But I'm very, very excited about it. And the poses make me think we might be talking about, like, doing some disco dancing, you know, doing this number and that number. That'd be great. Speaking of disco dancing, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about JYP and Sunmi's When We Disco. If you have watched me for any amount of time, if you know me, my personality, things that I enjoy, then you know that I am a JYP stan. I don't stan the record label, I stan JYP, the man, Park Jin Young. I don't know why, but me and JYP, I guess maybe it's because we're around the same age range, I just really dig his music. I always have. I actually own a JYP album. It's got the song Only One, which is one of my favorite JYP songs. He has a collaboration with Guyan on that particular record. Really, really good stuff. But him and Sunmi did a song called When We Disco. Came out last week, I believe. It is a great fucking song. Guys, it is such a good song. It's not even really a disco song to me though. Like when I listen to it, it doesn't remind me of disco. It actually reminds me more of trot, but it's got kind of a disco-y beat, but the melody reminds me of trot music quite a bit. But it's a really fun video, it's a really fun song, and it's got really fun choreography, so I'd highly, highly recommend that you get into it, enjoy it, have fun. But that's not what we're here for. You guys would like to talk about Dynamite, I want to talk about Dynamite. So I'm just going to pull up the album art real quick because I want you guys to see why it is I feel like a complete and utter dumbass. I hope I can pull up the album art. I'm just thinking about it right now. And there's so many artists that have been doing so much stuff that I might not be able to pull up the album art. But here's the first thing. So this is a GIF. And as you can see, disco. The vibe is disco. But then this is an example of like kind of the art style of the font, how it says 1 hour. That font style is very much like Boogie Nights, Saturday Night Fever, that kind of thing. I'm so excited. I'm so very excited. In fact, talk to yourselves for a minute. I think I have a copy of Boogie Nights on my DVD shelf. I'll be right back. I'm just going to check to see. I think I do. I think I do. Talk amongst yourselves. Why do all I have is kid movies? I used to be an adult. Where are all of my adult movies? Wait, that sounded bad. Never mind. Could not find it. But anyway, that kind of multi-lined font, it's a disco font. So I'm really, really excited. I hope that it's going to be a good time. I don't know if the album will sound like this. One vibe, though, that I really got from the teaser is that we're looking at a TikTok song. Like, I don't know if anybody else has said it already. This is a TikTok song. And it's something that I'm not surprised about. It's nothing that I'm disappointed with. It's nothing that I have any kind of angst regarding. It's more of like, this is the wave. Flat out. There's no other way to explain it. This is the wave. If your faves aren't making songs for TikTok, they're not doing their job. I don't know what the future will be for Americans when it comes to TikTok, because our president recently had an executive order that they wrote up saying that TikTok was going to be banned, and it was a 45-day ban for TikTok. But yeah, this is a TikTok song, and that is the way that you're supposed to do things. The new marketing strategy is absolutely create something that if the whole song can't be put on TikTok, at least a good 15 to 20 second segment can be put on TikTok. And that's what this is. And it is a wave that we've been seeing in terms of like TikTok songs and disco. Doja Cat's Say So has a very disco vibe, and when you look at the video, it's a disco video. Disco is beautiful. Like, I'm not trying to say this because it's the music of my folks, but when you look at like imagery from old disco album covers, when you look at the clothes, when you look at the styling, like, disco is gorgeous. Women with beautiful hair, guys in like tight fitting, well tailored clothes, big afros, lots of bracelets, and like lip gloss is just popping. Disco's a beautiful time. I can see why people want to recreate it. And so I'm super excited because I hope that this is the beginning of a whole bunch of Korean disco for me, because that would make me supremely happy. So that's why I wanted to make sure that the first thing we talked about today was disco. The next thing I want to talk about is tomorrow. Tomorrow is very special to me, guys. Tomorrow is one of the most important days of the year. I need you guys to really be paying attention tomorrow. Early tomorrow morning, Hyolyn will have come out with Say My Name. I need you guys to buy the album. I need you guys to listen to the single. I need you guys to support the homegirl. Hyolyn is my fave. I've talked about it before over and over again, but there was a time when I thought that perhaps my favorite group was 2NE1. But after a while, it was pretty much confirmed that my favorite group ever in K-pop is Sistar. I don't necessarily consider myself a style, but they are my fave. And Hyolyn, by far, is my bias in that group. And things have been really, really rough. I'm not going to lie to you. When she left Starship, I remember thinking, okay, well, maybe she's going to pop up somewhere else and she's going to, make a big splash on another label. Instead, she decided to do, I think it's called Bride Music, but it's spelled like Bridge 3. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, she decided to do an independent thing, her own label. And that was really iffy. I don't know of many women who have left major labels and then done their independent thing. You hear about it from guys all the time. Like Jay Park would be like the killer example of somebody who left a big label, started their own label, big successes. Zico's got his own label. Highlight's got their own label. Like, it happens a lot. But it's mostly guys. It's not really girls. And when Hyolyn left, I was like, Oh gosh, I really hope this works out for Homegirl. And it's met with moderate success. I really do feel like the K-pop engine is needed for certain artists. And unfortunately, Hyolyn is one of those artists that it seems like she needs the K-pop engine. And not the engine because she's not talented. Far from it. She's actually extremely talented. It's more like she needs the engine because there's a lot of bias against her. Like when she had all the bullying rumors that came out last year, a record label would have handled that. Instead, she had to handle it herself, and it was handled quite clumsily. But also, there's variety appearances and getting linked up with OSTs and all the other things that record labels kind of ease into for artists that was missing for Hyolyn. And it really sucks because she came out with three of her best solo songs ever during the time that she was trying to self promote. She came out with Cisse, which is such a fun, beachy summertime song. She came out with Bay, that literally sounds like it should have been a Sistar summer title track. Like, that's exactly what it sounds like. And then she came out with what is absolutely her best solo song ever, Dolly. Dolly is a masterpiece. Dolly is just, it is so good. It is just, it's got that, you better stop, you better stop. Ah, Dolly, Dolly. I love Dolly so much. And it did nothing for her in Korea. Like it was okay. She promoted it, but it didn't do anything to further her career in Korea. And I just can't help but think it's either because Starship are a bunch of assholes and they're blocking her success, or she just needs somebody to be her advocate to get her where she needs to go. Either way, it's obvious that doing it on her own through digital hasn't been working out so far. So we have got to show up in mass to support the homegirl because she's been giving it to us every summer for years. She has really been working her ass off. She is the consummate performer, actor, artist, all the things. So the least we could do for homegirl is to show up and show out when it comes to the MV and the views for the MV, streaming the album if you don't have the money to buy the album. I have bought the album. You guys knew I was going to buy the album. I bought the album. And once my album comes in, I will be doing the first giveaway I've done in a really long time. I'm going to be doing a giveaway for Hyolyn's album. I bought 2 copies. I bought 2 copies because she is the bias for me when it comes to the ladies. And I'm excited to support. I'm really excited to support. Recently, Carolyn has been on the timeline talking about how she is just really in a bad way when it comes to her bank account because all of her favorites are coming back at the fucking same time. And I feel for sis. She's got Super Junior coming back, or is it just Donghae and Eunhyuk? I think it's just D&E. Donghae and Eunhyuk are coming back, and then Wano Solo is coming out. And of course, prior to all of the drama with whether or not he was going to make a return, she had said, if he returns, I'll buy all the covers and collect all the photo cards. And now she's having to live up to her word. I'm so sorry, Carolyn. I'm sorry. But yeah, when you go out there and you tell people, yeah, I'm going to support you, I love you, and you're my favorite, and I just want you to come back and make more music, put your money where your mouth is. Start fucking buying. Start fucking purchasing. Start fucking streaming. Ehai came back with Hollow. We all have been saying for years, Ehai, come back, get out the dungeon, we want to see you, it'd be great if you merge with OMG. Literally, we have talked on Twitter and on videos and everything else saying, wow, wouldn't it be great if she left YG and went to OMG or some other like KR&B type label? She actually did it. She actually did it. And do you know who's fucking beating her in the charts right now? Jessie. And I know I shouldn't be mad because it's Jessie, but at the same time, I kind of have a grudge against Jessie. I don't like Jessie. It comes from the fact that I find her to be a bit of a Trudy. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. But I find her to be a little bit of a Trudy without being the absolute cosplayer that Trudy was. And also, I feel like Jessie doesn't really have a lot of integrity when it comes to acknowledging what it is she's doing. Jessie has a tendency to lay her appearance and her style on the fact that she is a Jersey girl. That's all fine and good. Do what you need to do. But there are some things that she does that aren't Jersey girl things. And I wish she would just acknowledge it. I wish she would just acknowledge, like, hey, I tan my skin super dark because I'm trying to look like a light-skinned black girl. I wish she would acknowledge that, that caboose that she bought that does not match her thighs is because she's trying to look like an Instagram baddie. I wish that she would, instead of hiding her talent behind an exterior that looks like a caricature of a social media model, I wish she would just go ahead and be her and show her talent. Because me not liking Jessie is a fairly recent development. If you've watched my channel for a number of years, you'll know I loved Jessie during Unpretty Rap Star. I really, really did. But Jessie during Unpretty Rap Star felt like a much more authentic person. Jessie now, I don't get it. I just don't get it. And at this point in her life, Jessie has probably been in Korea longer than she's been in the United States. Because she came to Korea as a teenager. And Jessie is what? Almost in her 30s, I think. Something around there. And she always puts it on, because I'm an American, because I'm an American, because I'm an American. I don't feel like that's a valid excuse anymore. I really, really don't. At this point, it just feels like it's permanent cosplay. And I wish that she would stop. Because she recently released a video for a song called Numb. And that song is actually pretty decent. She sounds pretty decent. The visuals are not bad on the video. It looks a little bit cheap because it's like a box set type video. But her voice sounds really strong. And the song is a song that is much more suited for her voice than any of the other ballad-esque songs that she's done in the past. So, I mean, outside of her whole appearance and imagery, if we were just talking about material, Nana Nuna would still not be my fave, but Numb actually has a lot of potential, and because I'm not a hater, I give people credit where credit is due. Numb is actually pretty decent. If you haven't checked it out already, I highly recommend you listen to it. But yeah, I wish that she felt more authentic than what she's coming across currently. Speaking of which, that kind of sours me on this new project because she is involved with a project with Lee Hyo-rin, Jung-hwa, and Hwasa. They're doing like the super girl powery special unit project thing. Don't know what it's about. Will buy anyway because Hwasa and Lee Hyo-rin together on one project, dynamite, fantastic, must support. But I also think to myself, like, yeah, Jessie being there kind of fucks it up for me, man. Kind of fucks it up for me. Speaking of Tangentville, me and Mason were talking to each other on Sunday about if you could compile a 4-girl group and you could pick members from any girl group out there, disbanded or together, one girl, you can't have like 5 girls from one group, who would be on your dynamite 4-girl group? And I said my dynamite 4-girl group would probably be Hwasa and Yeowon just because I love them so much. But I would probably also invite Chungha and Ihai. And Mason was like, well, what song would they do? Like, I don't get it. And then he ended up coming up with the perfect song. If I had those 4 girls together, I would have them do a song similar to Why So Lonely by the Wonder Girls. Like something that kind of has like a little bit of a reggae tropical feel, that has a vibe, that doesn't require a lot of choreography or anything else, but just something where like their vocals could really shine on it. Oh man, what a ride it would be. I know a lot of people don't see it for Chungha when it comes to vocals, but there's something really mysterious and kind of smoky about Chungha that I really like. Like her vocals always sound like a little bit fuzzy to me. Does that make any sense? Like her vocals always sound like kind of fuzzy or fluffy whenever she sings, and I think that that would be really cool to match with someone as sharp as Hyolyn, because when Hyolyn sings, she has a very kind of crisp pronunciation to a lot of stuff she does. And then of course you've got Wassa, who's just killing it. Did you see her cover of Watermelon Sugar? Stephanie likes it. She actually said she thinks she might like it better than the original, which is high praise from Stephanie because she is a big Harry Styles fan. And then of course Ihai, who's got like a voice to die for. She's so great. I hope AOMG gets her an album like really, really soon. It doesn't have to be like in the next month. That's too fast. But I feel like her and AOMG have been talking about her joining the label for months. Like since she left YG, I think she's been in negotiation with them because very early on after she left YG, people said they thought she had signed to AOMG and she's like, no, I'm not with the label yet. So I feel like not only have they been talking for a really long time, but they've probably been in the studio playing around for a really long time just to kind of see like, what does she like? How does she feel? What would be her preference? So I would hope that before the end of 2020, we get a full project from Ihai, even if it's not like a 9-track album, but like a good 5-track mini would be appropriate because it's just been so long. It's been so long. So those are my desires. But yeah, that would be my girl group, kind of alt group, if I could have that, at least currently. That could always change. I know Mason, he added CL to his. I would love to see Sulgi in something really fun. Sulgi's done some really fun project stuff. Like she did that one duet with Zion T, which was really fun. And then Sulgi also did that one supergroup with Homegirl from G-Friend and Chungha. And I'm trying to remember who else was in that subunit. Can't recall, mind blank. But anyway, she did an SM Station song that was really, really good. So Sulgi's done some fun stuff. I really enjoy her quite a bit. Okay, Sohyun, thank you. It was Sohyun from G Idol. So it was the girl from G Idol, the girl from G Friend. I think it was Yuji. Was it Yuju? Yuju? Can't remember her name now. But yeah, that was a fun project. A lot of people slept on that. Oh, boom, boom, boom. That was a good song. Anyway, on to more stuff. Only One Of has got a song coming out. I heard the teaser only, but the song is produced by Groovy Room. And if you know anything about me, you know KRMB is my weakness. I love Haze, and Groovy Room produced a lot of her early big Korean hits. And Groovy Room was producing this song by Only One Of, and the teaser sounds amazeballs. I've never paid attention to Only One Of. They're not a part of my ministry of getting to know the young boys, but that ministry has kind of been put on halt because of lack of funding. But I kind of want to get into them now because I really like that song, and I'm hoping the album is just as good. I tried with the boys. I really did. Like the boys, after I watched Road to Kingdom, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get into the boys. And I listened to their first full album and I'm like, there's some decent stuff here. But the minis just did not strike my fancy. And I don't know, I'm hoping that their surprise comeback is something that's gonna get me more invested in them and get me wanting to listen to them and everything else. But I don't know. You know, relationships with K-pop groups are something you just can't force. You either are in it or you're not. And for me, it's a combination of things. Like, I don't know how it is for you, but it's a combination of things for me when it comes to how I get into a group. It's like, it's not just, oh, I like that one song, even though a really good song can really turn the tide. But it's also like, do I like the texture of the voices here? Do I like the mix of all the different voices? Is there anybody here vocally that really stands out to me? Then it is, you know, what do the videos look like? Am I intrigued by the visuals? Other times it's like, is there a spark? Like, is there a super charismatic person in the group that my eyes just can't stray away from? And I think that's the reason why it's been very difficult for me to get into a lot of the younger groups, because I haven't had a lot of that experience like, ooh, who is that? So that really puts me off. Like, ATEEZ is really the last newer group that I was like, I really like these boys. And then G Idol is probably the last girl group that I was like, you got something going on there, that you're talking about something. But other than that, it's just been a while since I've been really invested in a group. So I'd like to be invested again. That'd be fun. I need to tell you guys what this tastes like because I've only taken one other sip of this. I don't know if me saying this, any of you will catch this at all. Have you ever bought packaged ramen noodles that come with a small packet of sesame seed oil that you're supposed to put into the noodles to like make it taste more nutty? Has anybody ever gone through that? This Korean roasted barley tea tastes like sesame seed oil. It doesn't have any sugar in it. In fact, the ingredients on it are water, roasted barley, roasted black barley, and then enzyme, which is made out of wheat and soy. And it says here that this is a product of the Republic of Korea, so I guess this is actually made in Korea. You're supposed to eat this, you're supposed to drink this hot, but I didn't feel like drinking it hot. And apparently it is colloquially known as boricha, which, okay, cool. But yeah, it tastes exactly like roasted sesame seed oil. So that's a thing. Anywho's, let's keep going. Today is GD's birthday. Happy birthday, GD. Kwon Jinyoung. Kwon Ji-young. I don't know why I said Jinyoung. Kwon Ji-young. I don't have anything bad to say about G-Dragon because I don't really feel like I know G-Dragon very well. To be honest with you, I have enjoyed Big Bang for a really long time. They're one of the first K-pop groups I ever really got into early on in my channel's history. If you look back at the earliest videos, I collected a lot of Big Bang for a while. But things between me and YG really soured around the main album. Like, I was a big fan of Big Bang, and then the Made album rollout really ruined Big Bang for me in a lot of ways because it felt very greedy and it felt very opportunistic. Like the fact that they were selling them by the letter. This is a little history for you guys, for those of you who don't remember. When the Made album came out, it didn't come out all at once. It came out in pieces. So the first one was the M, and that was the one that had Loser and Baby on it. And I bought that. I knew it was just 2 songs and 2 instrumentals, but I was okay with that because I really liked the 2 songs. Then the A came out because it was M-A-D-E. So each of the single releases would be a different letter. The A came out. The A had both of the songs from M plus 2 new songs. And right then I'm like, I'm not buying another fucking thing until this project is over. Yeah, that too. And so I was soured on the fact that they basically recycled the songs from M and put them on A, and that's why D is actually the lowest selling of all the different letters, because D was the same thing, the 4 previous songs plus 2 new songs. But then I got that fucking photo card, man, and it was a photo card of a fucking hand. And you know, I'm not gonna lie, it's funny now. Like, looking back on it, that shit is hilarious. If I was an outsider, I would be really laughing at this. But I was somebody who cared a lot about Big Bang at that point, and I was excited to get it. I bought the black and the white, and I was thinking about, you know, doing the whole puzzle pieces thing. Like, I was really invested in Big Bang at this point. And when I opened up that album and got that fucking hand for a photo card, I remember thinking, this is it. I don't want nothing to do with Big Bang no more. Y'all have pissed me off to the nth degree. Like, literally, you could hear the Kill Bill music playing in my mind. That like, that was what was playing in my mind at the time. I was incensed. Since then, like I said, I have gotten over it. We are okay. But I was so angry. So angry. So angry. And after that, like, I just really quit caring about Big Bang as much. I quit trying to go back and watch old shows. I sold a lot of my Big Bang collection. A lot of it I got rid of. And I had some pretty nice things. I didn't have any of the big photo books, but I had all of the paper doll collection, and I had all the keychain collection. And I got rid of those. Didn't want them no more. Because I felt used. Frankly, I felt used. And that's not even including all the repackages. So, like, there's the M, the A, the D, the E. Oh, I'm sorry, David. Mm. There's the M, the A, the D, the E. In addition to the M, the A, the D, and the E, there was Made, which was supposed to be all the songs all together. And there were like three different versions. There was like the regular poor people's version. There was the limited edition oil painting version. There was the Japanese version. And there was like the Japanese version with limited edition t-shirts that only fit your pet chihuahua. Like, it was awful. It was fucking awful. And after that, like, I just really fell out of love with Big Bang. And I hate that. I really do. I know I'm sitting here talking about like how they made me mad, but I really hate that happened because some of my favorite K-pop songs and memories have to do with Big Bang. I don't know why I'm eating and drinking on camera like this is fucking mukbang when it's not. In case you're wondering what I'm eating like a bag of almonds. So, you know, I'm all about giving people their flowers. So, GD, on your birthday, let me talk about the ways that you've made me happy. Big Bang has some of the most iconic K-pop songs to ever be released. Both Big Bang and SNSD, say what you want about their old achievements compared to the achievements of your modern day faves. The fact of the matter is, when they were actively promoting, during the time that they were actively promoting, they were creating records to be broken. They were records that had never even been seen that they created. And because of that, they can never have their legacies dismissed. Big Bang was probably the first K-pop group to ever win a Western Music Awards award. When you think about it, think about them winning that MTV Europe award. Who was doing it like them? Think about SNSD and how they managed to conquer both Korea and Japan and make super waves in China without ever releasing a Chinese project. Jessica's been able to have an entire failed career in China, and SNSD never put out an album in Mandarin. You know, these are legendary people, and when I think back to like my favorite Big Bang songs, GD had a big hand in those songs. And they're songs that to this day still slap. They're songs that to this day I still want to listen to. You know, Bang 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 was never my fave, but you have to acknowledge Bang 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 is a really good song. Go back to Baby. That's a great song. Baby, baby, na 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 na. That's a great song. Loser is an okay song. Not my favorite, but it is what it is. Bad Boy? Sorry, I'm a bad boy. Come on. Monster. I love you. Baby, I'm not a monster. Come on. Tonight. Love song. I hate this love song. I mean, fucking GD and Top. Buggy Gaio. Buggy Gaio. I mean, just hit after hit after hit. We just don't give enough credit to them. We really, really don't. And also, Big Bang had their anniversary too. It's been 14 years now. And it's just, they're the blueprint. They really are the blueprint. And I'm not saying this to diminish any other achievement that anybody else had, because I'm not about that. But we really need to give it to them. Big Bang was a wave. And a lot of people who got into second generation, they got into second gen because of Big Bang. Really, they did. Like, a lot of people got into K-pop first generation probably through BoA. BoA and Rain were like the big first generation draws, and maybe like SES, HOT, Shinhwa, Finkel. But when it came to like the superstars of second gen, it's SNSD, it is Big Bang, it is 21, it is 2PM, like the majors, Super Junior. It's funny because now we look at Super Junior, we're like, oh, those old men. But Sorry, to this day, is probably the most widely known choreo of any Korean song of all time. Fight me. Like, everybody knows that sorry. I've told the story before about how I watched shit, what is the name of that movie? It's the movie with Honky and Younghwa from Seeing Blue. It's not Heartstrings, it's the other one. Anyway, that show. They used to have like these little things at the end of like a scene where they would just like have the cast goofing off, and they did the sorry sorry joke, and for a smooth year after that, I thought that this was how people in Korea say sorry. Like I really did. I thought this was like kind of like how people in America's like okay. I thought that Korean people, they were like, oh, I'm so sorry. I really did, because it is that fucking classic. It is that fucking classic. And I don't know, just in the age that we are, with all of the new stuff that we have access to and all of the groups coming out with comebacks and just, so much to take our attention away from everything else, people really have no idea how dominant some of these groups were. Like, it was an event when a second gen group would come back. Like, if it was a popular second gen group, people would be like, oh my god, the video's about to premiere, everybody get ready. Now it's like you wake up on a Wednesday morning and there's been 3 or 4 different premieres on one day. When Shiny and Big Bang came back, that was like, they each had their own month of people just focusing on them. Shiny Sherlock was my first time being introduced to Shiny. I actually had just gotten into K-pop like right before Shiny had their comeback. And I saw Sherlock for the first time and I was like, who are they and how can I get to know them more? And after that I was lost forever. Xiaowa for life. But it was like one of those things where everyone was talking about it. They were winning massive music shows. They were promoting these songs for weeks. Nowadays, a group comes out and the promotion schedule is like 2 weeks, maybe 3 if the song is like super hot. But people don't even promote a song for a month anymore. And back then, people would promote a comeback for like 2 months sometimes. Like a really long time. Soyeon Dorito. Man, Eat Your Kimchi was a whole thing. K-Pop Music Mondays was a whole thing. And no one's ever done it like that since. I'm not as big a fan of Simon and Martina as I used to be. I feel like they have some rather weird opinions about some things. Or at least their opinions are very different from my own. But outside of that, I can't deny it. K-Pop Music Monday was fucking genius. And I'm surprised. I'm really surprised that someone hasn't looked back at K-Pop Music Mondays and made that an MTV or a Nickelodeon or a Disney show. Think about it for a second. Simon and Martina did this thing where you would vote for your favorite video, and then they had like a cutoff day. When they had that cutoff, that is when they would like, in the course of maybe a day, 24 hours, 40 hours, whatever, they would come up with an entire skit show that would be between, I would say, like 6 to 12 minutes based on the votes of the viewers. And it was pure comedy. Pure comedy. And it was in today's social media realm, something like that would fucking kill. Would fucking kill. If Nickelodeon said, we have a new K-pop comedy show, and what we do is we do a 15-minute sketch on the most voted on K-pop song of the week. Do you know what a fucking fight battle it would be on social media to get people's faves to be the one that was the focus of the episode? Do you realize what a fucking look that would be? How much engagement they would get? The fact that no one's even trying to do that, I'm just really surprised. I'm just really surprised that no one's even trying to do that. By the way, David, thank you for letting me know they'd moved back to Canada. Like I said, it's been so long since I checked on them, I don't even know what's going on with them anymore. But I know that the last time I heard anything about them or from them, Martina's health was a big issue. So I'm not surprised that she would move back to Canada because, I mean, healthcare wise and being close to family would be important. It would be important. But yeah, like, that was a whole thing. If you've never watched K-Pop Music Mondays, I highly recommend it. top K-pop music Mondays I recommend people watch. SNSD, I Got a Boy. That is recommended television. Everyone should watch the SNSD I Got a Boy K-pop Music Monday. Everyone should watch the Sherlock K-pop Music Monday. I personally really like the Big Bang K-pop Music Mondays because Big Bang was Martina's favorite group, so it's always fun to see their reactions to the Big Bang stuff. Oh, EXO. So EXO had trying to think now. EXO had a pre-debut song, What Is Love, which is still one of my favorite EXO songs of all time. And Simon changed the lyric to the chorus from I lost my mind to I lost my pants, rip a toe, flip a toe, sip a slow motion. I still giggle. To this day, I still giggle. So that is the reason why I highly recommend going back and checking out K-Pop Music Monday. It is a lot of fun. So David says they recently moved because of COVID. Their vids in Japan focused on food and restaurants. They can't really do that for a while now due to the pandemic. That's what they said. I mean, delivery. Is not delivery as DiGiorno? I mean, like, whatever. Yeah, Batust, Balasa, B1A4, and Beast. Batust is Beast and Balasa is B1A4. But yeah, K-Pop Music Monday was a time. It was a time. Rest in peace, Budgie. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed Simon and Martina back in the day. I'm trying to think what other K-pop stuff I should be talking about. Oh, let's talk about, because I've already talked about it before, but let's talk about it some more. Let's talk about shipping. So I ordered the Red Velvet Le Rouge photo book. And I ordered it back in June. It was said when it was, I ordered it at the beginning of June, and the seller said that they shipped it June the 14th, and by the end of July I hadn't gotten it. So I write the seller back about, I want to say 5 days into August. I waited a little bit. And I'm like, hey, do you happen to have a tracking number? Can you check to see what happened with the shipment? Did it get returned to you? Because I haven't received it. And the person I bought it from on eBay said, there was a delay in the release of the photo book, and because of COVID, there's some shipping issues. I can resend it to you for an extra $5. And it was just weird because I'm like, I don't mind paying extra for the shipping, but I need you to send me an invoice. And this seller didn't send me an invoice. So after 3 days, because I went through the mediation process that eBay makes you go through, I had my money refunded. And the seller was not happy with me. They were pretty pissed with me. But I don't understand what happened with that shipping. But from what I've been told, Korean, like regular post, K-Post, is gone. Like, there is no K-Post when it comes to shipping from Korea to America. So the small packet and the cheaper shipping options aren't there anymore. And there were a lot of eBay sellers that could compete with US K-pop sellers because they could ship it through small post, and it would maybe cost them $5 or $6 to ship an album that cost them $12, and they could charge you $25 and they make a big profit. But now that's not an option anymore. And from what it sounds like, it's not going to be an option for a really long time. And this has fucked up a lot of shit. This has fucked up not just the ability to get like cheap K-pop. There are a lot of people, I'm not one of them currently, who buy a lot of things from group order managers. One of the ones that I think of right off the bat is, I think it's Nidong Sang, I think is their name. I'm sure I'm saying it wrong. But it's a seller who sells a lot of SM stuff. So they sell NCT merch, they sell a lot of Shiny merch, and occasionally they do a little bit of Monsta X merch. And a lot of people bought things on group orders thinking that, okay, I'll pay whatever the domestic shipping is, and then I'll pay K-packet shipping from Korea to me in the US. And now that is no longer an option, and people are defaulting on their group orders left, right, and sideways because they can't afford to ship their products to them. And it's not just them, it's a lot of people that went on like Nyoko, I think is what it's called. It's a Korean proxy site where you can order stuff off of Korean auctions, and they'll ship it to that Korean address, and then that person will send it to you. A lot of people are finding that the warehouses are full because no one is getting their stuff shipped to them because nobody can afford to ship them. And from what I heard, Nyokyo is throwing away stuff because they are so full of merch, which I don't know about you, but I do know about me. If I paid you to buy an item for me and I couldn't get it shipped to me because the shipping terms have changed and you throw my shit out, we're going to have a problem. You're going to have to come talk to me for real. Because, you know, the stuff that they're threatening to throw out may not be a big deal to them because they didn't have to pay for it. But if I had like a rare photo card that I paid you to buy and then you just toss that shit out in the street, we got to fight. If it was a rare photo book that's out of print and you throw it out, we got to fight. Also, you have to prove to me you threw it out. Like, real talk, you would have to prove to me you actually threw it out and that you didn't just resell it and pocket the money. Because who's going to throw out merch? I don't care what the packing situation is like or anything else. Who's going to throw out a photo book? Who's going to throw out an album? Who's going to throw out enamel pins? Who's going to throw this stuff out? Seriously. So, I mean, I don't know what we're going to do. I don't know what we're going to do, but it's fucking up a lot of shit. It's fucking up a lot of shit. And so, I wish COVID would leave. I wish COVID would go away. I would love for COVID just to get gone. Because everything is so ruined. Everything is so awful. But I live in the United States, so COVID will be here for the next 50 years. Because people around here don't know how to act at all. They're insane out of their minds. So I think I've talked about all the K-pop stuff that's been forefront in my mind. I don't really have any extra stuff to really talk about to you guys. So if you have any questions for me, anything you want to ask me about, now is the time. The floor is open. I'm willing to chat. I'm willing to talk. I'm trying to think if there's anything that I'm missing K-pop wise that I should be talking about. Not much. Oh, I can't believe I almost didn't talk about that. Hi guys, it's me, Shawwell360, and I almost forgot my Shawwell-esque duties. Let's have a conversation about plagiarism. So, plagiarism, it's a thing. It is when somebody copies or takes inspiration from a writer, an artist, a visual, a song, and decides to make it their own without giving proper accreditation. The concept of plagiarism has come up in 3 different incidents over the last week and a half. And so I need to talk about it because I have opinions, I have thoughts, I have queries. So let's get into it. Let's start with I don't know which country in Africa, but there is an African musical artist, I don't know which country, I'm so sorry, who recently did a video, and I believe he is a rapper. And the video looks very, very much like GOT7's Just Right. Very, very much so. I'm going to see if I can pull it up on Twitter. Give me a moment. Converse amongst yourselves. I'm doing research, and because I want to keep you informed, you need to see what I see. So let's see. Just Right. I hate spelling words. Plagiarism. There you go. So this is, I'm going to run this back so you can see. So you can see where it's very similar. It's not even very similar. It's fucking identical. So that came up on the timeline. And what can I say? I'm not going to sit here and try to apologize or try to make it seem like it's not that bad, because it is blatant plagiarism. Like, it is absolutely a copy. And the issue is not that they saw something that they liked and they decided to do it. To me, the bigger issue is you didn't even try to switch it up. Like, I get that you would be like, oh, I saw this video, this K-pop video, I thought it was really cool, I decided to do it myself. All right, I get it, you're inspired, but maybe switch it up. Maybe instead of being on the compact, being in the drawer, having the mirror right in the same angle, maybe show up inside of her purse. Maybe she wakes up from a nap and you're laying on the pillow. Like, there's other things you could have done besides doing the exact same thing. The laziness is what gets to me. The laziness really gets to me. Song's not bad. Song's not bad. But don't be that lazy. Like, if you're inspired by something, switch it up. Do a little something different. Make it your own. That way it goes from being plagiarism to inspiration. And inspiration can be forgiven for a lot. Now let's talk about the next issue. 17's left, right. I'm not going to sit here and act like I didn't know that that was the Cupid Shuffle. I don't know if I said it on video, but I know I at least had that conversation out loud with somebody. I know for a fact I did. I remember hearing left, right, and thinking it kind of sounds like the Cupid Shuffle. Didn't think nothing of it. Why? Because K-pop licensed songs from Western artists all the time. Shiny's Good Evening is sampling, interpolating Cupid from 112. And it's acknowledged. It's in the lyrics, or not in the lyrics, but it's in the liner notes that, you know, this is an interpolation of Cupid's 112, and all of the songwriters from 112 got paid. So there was no problem, no plagiarism, no nothing. It was all taken care of. It's all legit. I don't buy 17 albums, so I had no idea whether or not Cupid would be credited in the liner notes for Left and Right. But I am a black person who occasionally makes their way down south to a family reunion or two. And the Cupid Shuffle came out, I want to say, close to 15 years ago, something like that. And it is the family reunion song. Like, the Cupid Shuffle, doing the chicken dance, Ricky Beverly and Maze's Before I Let Go. There's just certain songs that always get played at the gathering. And the Cupid Shuffle is, you know, down, down, do your dance, to the left, to the left, to the left, to the left, to the right, to the right. It's a thing. I don't know how anybody in Korea ended up coming across the Cupid Shuffle, but there's no way on this given earth that they can walk away or somehow distance themselves from Left and Right sounding, sampling, paying homage to the Cupid Shuffle. And Cupid, the actual artist, is on social media, and he's really upset. He's like, I'm not mad at the boys from 17. I don't bear any ill will towards them. I got a niece who likes them. I'm upset because Pledis is a record label, and they got plenty of money. They got that big hit money now, and they can afford to pay me clearance. It wouldn't even be super expensive. In the grand scheme of things, we're talking a few $1,000s. Well, you might have to hit me up for $20,000. But it's about the way you conduct business. And you don't steal somebody's hit, because that is Cupid's like lone hit. You don't steal somebody's hit to have one of your biggest selling albums, because this was a huge seller for 17. Like, this album sold very, very well for them, and then not run me my royalties. That's what you're not going to do. So I don't know what legal maneuvers Cupid can take at this point, because I don't know how his copyright makes it into Korea, how that is all negotiated. But I wish him the best in terms of getting his money, because there's just no way of anyone with ears saying that it's not a copy. There's no way. You're fooling yourself. I'm going to see if I can bring it up. Also, this is another example of where black folks who are K-pop fans on the timeline who brought up the fact that the Cupid Shuffle had been plagiarized were roundly insulted, ignored, backlashed against by non-black fans. How dare you accuse our faves of plagiarism? It's just a coincidence that they sound alike. Who even has ever heard of the Cupid Shuffle? Fuck out of here, y'all. Fuck out of here. I'm trying to see if I can get a sample of. Again, talk amongst yourselves. You can talk about my barley tea. It's pretty fucking terrible. Okay. Now, again, I don't hate 17. 17 is not a group I really listen to that much. They have a couple of songs here and there that I've enjoyed, but they're not a group that I feel compelled to try to follow their careers or anything like that. But I think you can hear from the sampling and the overlaying that these are very similar sounding songs. There's no way to get around that. And so, just like I feel like that particular African rapper should not have copied Got7 pound for pound, word for word, in terms of like copying the video concept. When it comes to Cupid and his music, I feel like this man should be paid because it's just too similar for there not to be some type of a link. So that's the end of that. Now I have to get to the most important plagiarism thing to talk about here because I normally I don't like it when shawls have problems because it shows the ugliest underbelly of our fandom. But sometimes when shawls have problems, it's legitimate. There is a Japanese boy band named G Egg, and I don't know if they are a television show band. I'm not sure what it is, but they have different subunits. So they have like Team A, Team B, Team C, Team D. And they released a song, and the imagery from that song for the music video bears a more than striking resemblance to a music video that SHINee produced in tribute to Jonghyun. And SHINee, after Jonghyun passed away, they had their Tokyo Dome concert from now on, and then they did the Story of Light series. And the Story of Light series had 3 distinct parts and then an epilogue. The third part, the title track for the third part, was a song called Our Page. And SHINee decided to do a video, and the video was about them going through their regular routine and how grief has impacted their regular. It is now part of their new norm, and that they're still getting through their lives and they're still doing everything that they've been obligated to do, but at the same time, you know, they do all these things with the remembrance that there's someone missing, there's something that's just not quite there, there's always going to be an empty space. And so they did beautiful visuals for this. This is a scene from the Our Page music video. Here's another one of kind of when you can see more of the shiny colors, the shiny lights. It's a video that I don't watch very frequently because honestly it's super sad, and I don't like to think of Jonghyun that way. I really try very hard to associate him with positive memories, happy memories, and so I really try very hard not to associate it with sadness because in a way it could really overwhelm me if I'm not very careful. So Our Page is not a video I watch very often, but it is one that I did watch when it came out, and it's a really beautiful video. It's a really pretty song. That song and You and I by Key, those are two songs that were written in tribute to Jonghyun, and so they're very important to the fandom. This group, GA, they did a video and very recently, and this is some imagery from the GA video. Now again, I don't like to be involved with mess. I'm not one of these people who's out here to diminish people, talk bad to people. I'm not one of those ones that's quick to jump on the plagiarism train. Like the two examples of plagiarism I just spoke about, very, very obvious, very concrete plagiarism, not common things that everyone is doing for you to be like, oh, well, everyone does this, so it's not a copy. No, these are specific things. This is super specific. The way that the stage is constructed, the way that the lights are put up, the fact that they're wearing the same kind of pastel-y, candy-colored suits, it is very specific. Now, I'm not one to believe that everyone in the world knows about SHINee. I know that there's a lot of places where SHINee's just not really that known. But SHINee was a really big group in Japan for a little while. Like SHINee did very, very well in Japan. So Japanese music producers, Japanese music video directors are familiar with SHINee. The boys from G-Egg, I doubt that they had anything to do with the styling, the set design, anything of that nature. Because when you are a boy on a television show doing music, you don't have that kind of autonomy. You don't have that kind of agency. But whoever did do this video, I don't know how you could miss the somber tone involved with Our Page. I don't know how you could have missed any of the newspaper articles about the lead singer of SHINee passing away. I don't know how any of this could have bypassed you for you to think that this is an appropriate video concept to replicate. Color for color, costume for costume. And the thing is, the song that G-Egg is doing is not even a depressing song. It's actually kind of like a happy, lighthearted summer type song. But this is the imagery that they decided to go with, and I just... What are you thinking? Why would you do this? And I think it's a lot harder to prosecute or to sue about copied music video concepts. Like a movie, you could probably get away with it a little bit. But music videos, I think, are a lot harder to litigate. But I hope that SM sues the pants off of that production company. I hope they get them for every penny they can. Because this is uncalled for. This really and truly is uncalled for. You didn't have to do this. Learn your skills. If you're going to be a music video director, if you're going to be a set designer, if you're going to be, learn your skill and then apply your skill. Show your talent in that way. Don't go about robbing other people of their vision and things that mean something to them. Yeah, they're wearing similar outfits as well. So this is kind of a better image of the outfits that they're wearing, but you can tell that they're wearing like the same kind of like candy colored outfits. It's too much. So that is something that I wanted to talk about. Here's another picture of them in their concept, and as you can see, it looks very similar. And the other thing that's very painful about it too is that SHINee is now 4. This is a 5-member group here. It's insensitive parallels. So that's why SHINee's kind of up in arms, and that's the reason why I hate it. But Now there's a side story to this, which is the reason why I felt the need to reintroduce myself as Charlotte 360, because I love Shiny. I love Shiny. I love Shiny as if they are my cousins. Like, I don't play about Shiny like that. I don't mind a joke here and there. I like to keep it lighthearted. I don't try to be super serious about stuff, but I love Shiny. And I have been a fan of Shiny for a good minute. And there are just certain behaviors that when I see them, I am appalled. And I'm even more appalled when they're done in the name of somebody who claims to be a Shawwal. I'm going to share with you a bit of a Twitter interaction that really just grinds my gears, that really just pissed me off, and that I ended up having to tweet about because I just couldn't believe that somebody would be that fucking stupid. So I'm going to pull it up on Twitter. Give me just a moment. So this is somebody who was having a conversation on Twitter. Here's how it goes. So we're going to name one of them Sylvia, and one of them's going to be named Patty. Sylvia and Patty. Sylvia says, legit gotta log off because I can't stand seeing all this talk about how our page music video is deep and meaningful. You know what's meaningful and deep? Keebum's you and I, but I literally never see any of you talk about that. Patty says, I think both of them are meaningful in their own way. Maybe not so much the music video for our page, but the sentiment behind lyrics written by members is deep and important, and so is you and I. One being more important over the other to some people doesn't take away anything from both songs. Sylvia. Just because Boy's sentiment, I'm sure, was genuine, I can't look at it without knowing how overall it is the most disgusting example of capitalism and exploiting grief. Not from their side, but from SM's side. It didn't need the MV, nor to be the song they went and promoted with. Patricia. I generally try not to think about SM's side in anything because that usually makes me angry. I get what you're saying, but in the end, it is what it is. They went with it, and for some Shawwals, it was needed, I guess. That's why they're so angry over the whole thing. Why take it from them? Sylvia. Nah, I'm not saying they can't be angry. I just see people calling it Shiny's most personal song, and I sincerely doubt it. I just hate it because it's not a song that was commissioned to comfort everyone. It was made to make you sad. Then this is the thing that I retweeted about. And while I don't say you can go just steal things, I find it laughable when people say it's traumatic to see similar aesthetics with 5 members. And the more I think about our page music video, the more vile and disgusting the whole process seems to me. So my retweet was, the most offensive part of this whole thread is your dismissal of the feelings of fans and the personal agency of the other 4 members of Shiny. Calling them vile and disgusting, because like it or not, they were part of that process, is the ugliest of solo stan energy. But Patricia and Sylvia weren't done talking yet. Patricia says, it is disturbing to see how similar in set design, lighting, and outfits that one scene is, but to be honest, I didn't even notice it's 5 boys at first, and that particular thing doesn't bother me at all. But then I'm a bit dense when it comes to things like this. Sylvia says, some Shawwals do use Jongyi as tragedy porn themselves, and will flaunt their grief in even loosely related arguments to the point where I find it tactless at best. And honestly, if you didn't notice it, it means you've got a healthy relationship with this situation. As my opinion is, our page music video is for people who know looking at funeral pics is an asshole move, so they have the MV where they can go and stare at boys' grief and feel okay with themselves. Sylvia goes on to say, I refuse to accept the blatant capitalism of grief as Shawwals and Shiny's most meaningful MV. I'll take good evening over that if I have to choose. First of all, who made you the grief police? Who told you that you're allowed to tell people how long they're allowed to grieve, how they're supposed to grieve, what is and isn't healthy grief? It's none of your fucking business. You don't know shit. Shut the fuck up. For real, just shut the fuck up. Secondly, after everything happened, SM knew that they couldn't really push Shiny. Shiny was not to be pushed. They were in a very sensitive position with a very sensitive situation. And if SM tried to push them into doing something tacky or thoughtless or something that seemed opportunistic, it would look bad on the company more than it would look bad on the boys. So the 4 members of Shiny that are still currently on this mortal coil decided to make a music video that they realized probably would be a repository for a lot of feelings that a lot of Shawwalls were having. And they did the Tokyo Dome show, but of course not every Shawwall could be there, and it took a couple of months for us to even get that DVD. So they tried to create something that Shawwalls could enjoy, that we could all be a participant of, and gives us a place to kind of type our feelings and feel like we're all grieving together. And yes, did SM make money off of it? Absolutely, because SM's not a charity program. But is that capitalism? Is it vile and disgusting? No. It wasn't vile and disgusting when we were buying Jonghyun's albums while he was alive. It wasn't vile and disgusting when we were going to their concerts and cheering for them. Everything that Shiny has done underneath SM's label prior to December of 2018 was all done for money, was all a part of capitalism. Every album that was released, every music video that was made to promote, every time they showed up on a music show, every time they did a tour, that is part of capitalism. That is the contract that fans make with these K-pop companies in order for us to have the material that we enjoy. It just is what it is. It is the game. It is the game. But this, Our Page music video, was made specifically to be a gathering place for those people that were still having a really hard time with their feelings. And as a fan who endured that horrible day and the aftermath of it, I could tell you, the feelings do this number. The feelings, they wave. They never really go away. Sometimes they stay submerged, sometimes they come to the surface. And I dealt with my grief the way that I needed to, but I knew a lot of people who were hurting in a really bad way. And they weren't going to be able to be better until they felt like other members were doing better, until they felt like they had a way to really legitimately say goodbye. And the funeral pictures were not a way that a lot of us could say goodbye, because it was so utterly invasive. And it was cameras all in your face, and watching people cry, and watching this man's sister cry, and everything else. And a lot of us just weren't down for that, because we had respect. But this was a place where the members of Shiny said, you can come in right here. It was inappropriate for you to show up at the funeral, but this is the place where you can come in, and we can all try to heal together. And for you to say that only a certain kind of person enjoys that kind of music video, and that the process of making it is vile and disgusting, get the whole fuck out of here. Get the whole fuck out of here. There were people that legitimately wanted to harm themselves after Jonghyun passed away. A lot of people. And whatever needed to be made, whatever music video, whatever concert, whatever products needed to be made to make those people feel like it was worth sticking around for, is worth every fucking penny. But again, there's this thing on the internet, with Shawwal specifically, where there are certain members of the community who feel like they are the gatekeepers for the emotions of others. And we have to get past that. No matter if you became a Shawwal yesterday or if you became a Shawwal 12 years ago, we all have our own feelings about this because we're all different individuals. We've all gone through different life experiences. We all have seen different things. We all have had certain parallels in our own lives with what happened that day. And for some of us, the grief process was fairly brief. For some of us, the grief process was a part of us confronting our own worst fears, confronting our own worst memories, us confronting long-held traumas that this brought up again. And so no one can say what isn't a healthy relationship with the grief, because the only thing that's unhealthy is feeling the need to harm yourself and acting on that feeling. That's the only thing that's really unhealthy. But having the need to have a place where you can mourn, to have kind of a way to say goodbye, to have kind of a tombstone that you can revisit. You'd never say that to somebody who is grieving someone in their real life. You would never tell somebody whose friend got killed when they were in high school that you need to let that shit go. And also, just to be clear, it hasn't even been that long. It hasn't even been that long, friends. It's about to be 2 years. It hasn't been that long. Is it 2 years or 3 years? No, it's about to be 3 years, isn't it? Golly, time flies. It hasn't been that long. A lot of us are still extremely hurt. A lot of us, it's almost 3 years now. And a lot of us are still extremely hurt. It feels like yesterday. Like, honestly, it doesn't feel like it's been close to 3 years. To me, it feels like it's been a year or so. But I say all that to say that we need something. I don't know what it is we need, but as Shawwals, we need to come to some kind of agreement that we're going to stop this. Because this is one individual's opinion. But I've seen a lot of this kind of grief gatekeeping throughout Shawwal interactions for a really long time. And we've got to get to a point where the only thing we're doing is encouraging people to want to see another day. Because that's the only thing that we couldn't do for Jong-un. So we need to give other people a gift we couldn't give him. Encouragement to keep going, encouragement to keep living, encouragement to wanting to see tomorrow. Instead of telling people that the time is up, you should be over it by now. The way you're grieving is not the way you should be grieving. We've got to stop that. Telling people who recently got into SHINee, oh, well, you didn't know them for you to be sad. You've got to stop that. You can't keep doing this. And I can see where somebody who heard me read all these tweets would say, you can't be talking about a Shawwal. This has got to be somebody who is saying all this because they don't care, or they've never been involved, or, you know, they have no history with SHINee. But this is someone who on their Twitter bio says, my bias in SHINee is SHINee, occasional XOL. So that is what it is. I'm going to read their follow-up, because apparently they had a follow-up conversation regarding this situation, and this was posted this morning, well, at around 11. It says, as the situation quieted down a bit, I thought it'd be best to address some of my tweets. I'm aware they caused a bunch of misunderstandings and upset some people. The tweet that started it all was very carelessly written, and it wasn't a good moment to post it either. But I didn't think much of it, I just sent it. I realized it was insensitive and might have felt condescending, and came out of my frustration with the fandom. I don't think there's much of a discussion left at this point, and it's really not a topic that's easy to talk about in Twitter threads. We all proved it yesterday. I really don't enjoy bringing chaos to this community. It was never my intention. I'm sorry it got so nasty. But, just FYI, yesterday this is what you said. Damn, guys. If the essential process of you grieving is watching Jinky look dead inside and then just move on and accept that people have different opinions. So, I mean, I'm just going to assume that this is a really young person. I'm going to assume that this is a person who is super young and just doesn't have a lot of life experience and has never really gone through anything as painful. There's a lot of people who have never had to experience the death of a family member, have never had to experience the death of a friend, a pet, that they just never have had those experiences. And so they don't understand the feelings and the trauma and everything else. And I'm gonna chalk it up to that. I'm gonna chalk it up to a young person with not a lot of experience who gave a not quite sorry for the misunderstanding. But yeah, we need to stop all this gatekeeping bullshit because it's not cute. It's not cute and it's rather disrespectful, and I don't want to see any more of it. So yeah, I would have been very remiss if I didn't talk about that because that has been on my mind for for the last day or so. That has been right here on my mind. Last thing I'll talk about, and then I'm going to go. Well, last thing I'm going to talk about regarding K-pop is Super M came out with 100. I didn't feel as compelled to listen to 100 a lot as I did to Jopping. 100's okay. I think definitely 100 is not as like musically jarring. It doesn't feel as loud as Jopping did, even though there's still a lot going on. It's still a little chaotic. Still got a little of that chaotic NCT energy, but it wasn't nearly as like Marvel Universe-y as Jopping was. But I take keen amounts of pleasure in Taemin wearing his very best Banderos costume. Like, watching Taemin decide that he is now a part of a mariachi band is just high art. I love it. As someone who grew up in El Paso and have seen people wear bandero the bolo neckties and the cowboy hats, I die. It's hilarious. But Taemin made it even better for me because Taemin stood in front of a red wall and in his cowboy hat and his bolero with tons of cars driving past him. And I knew then I had to tweet about how Taemin looked like a used car salesman. And I think it might have been one of my finest tweets ever. So I'm going to pull up the tweet, well, at least the picture, so you'll know what I was talking about, because otherwise the tweet's not fun. You wouldn't enjoy reading it. It's just taking me a minute because I'm old and it's hard for me to do these things because I'm so old. So this is the picture that came across my timeline. If you can see it, it's Taemin with a bunch of cars. See it? And the tweet that I put out was, "Come on down to Taemin Toyota, located conveniently off of I-45 in the tollway. We are your one-stop shop for your next shiny new vehicle." And yeah, it was a little cheesy, I'm not gonna lie to you. It was pretty cheesy. But, I mean, that red wall looks exactly like the wall from the Toyota commercials. I had to. And also, like, he looked like a used car salesman from Houston. Thank you. Appreciate the shares. But yeah, it was funny to me. So I had fun. But I'm confused. So Taemin's wearing the cowboy hat with the vest and the bolero tie. And then like Taeyong was dressed like a character from an anime. Like, everyone had all these severely different looks. And I just don't understand what the hell we're supposed to be doing here. Like, I don't understand the concept. I don't know what we're doing. Everything is very bizarre. I feel like I'm in an alternative universe. And I don't know. It's going to take me a while to get used to 100. It's going to take a while for me to get used to whatever this is. And somebody brought it up on the timeline, and I wish I had reposted it because it was so funny to me. The video for 100 very much reminds me of the video for Bebe by Big Bang. Bringing it back full circle, friends, because Top in the cowboy hat having like a rap battle with the guy in the spacesuit. Or was that from the Bang 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 video? That might have been from the Bang 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 video. But anyway, very much like 1,000 different concepts going left and right. So yeah, I thought that was funny. Somebody put a picture of Top in his cowboy hat and then Taman in his cowboy hat. Very much cinematic parallels. So that was a good time. That was a really good time. But yeah, man, I'm gonna have to listen to 100 a few more times before I really get it. It's gonna take me a while, and even then I might not get it. But I'm not really too fussed about whether or not I like 100, because that's not what matters. Super M is not about whether or not you like the title song. It's about whether or not you like them B-sides. And say what you will about Jopping, there were some very nice B-sides on the Super M project. Fast Car was a decent B-side. Yeah. There were some good B-sides. So, that's going to be nice. I am happy about the downsize of the versions. I'll talk about that too. So, there is 4 or 5 versions of the album. If you go to the Super M merchandise website, I believe there are 2 like regular and then 2 member team versions. So it's not like last time where it was like a Taman version, a Kai version, a Lucas version. No. They're split up into teams. So there's like a Team A and a Team B version. So that's really nice. So if somebody was out here collecting every single cover for Super M, it's a lot nicer now. But from what I heard, and I need to find out more about it because I saw it on a tweet and I didn't really investigate it. Apparently, if you get different unit versions, you get different like messages from that particular unit. Which that doesn't seem fair. I don't like that. That's not nice. So that's the only thing that I'm kind of like, don't like that. Don't like that. But I'm glad that it's only 5 instead of all of the ones they had before. It was like the team version plus all the individuals. I'm wondering what the photo card situation is going to be like. Didn't really see any specifics on that, but I'd like to know. Also, SM, can I talk to you for a second? Real quick. I know that you don't have anything to do with this, and that the problem I'm going to describe to you just now, you wouldn't even know how to begin to address this problem. But I'm hoping that maybe you could talk to somebody at Capitol about making some changes, doing some things, because this is a really awkward conversation for me to have with you. I went to the Super M merchandise website, SM, because I wanted to buy some merch. I bought a signed poster from you last time. I thought there would be something that I would like in your merchandise store. The merchandise was super basic. SM, the merchandise was extremely basic. Like, it was just nothing that I was interested in at all. Y'all had a $20 keychain, you can have that. But you had t-shirts. And even though the t-shirts were plain, I was willing to buy it. However, the t-shirt stopped at a large. SM, I realized that in Korea, having t-shirts that stop at a large is not an issue because there aren't a lot of big girls asking for t-shirts. But here in America, where obesity is an epidemic of its own, I need you to put an X in front of that L. I need you to put a couple X's in front of that L, my friend. I mean, oversized clothes are the style right now anyway. So, yeah, can you please give us like 2 more big people sizes? Anything, please? Because I just can't. I really, really can't. I was this close to buying a Super M shirt. I saw the design. I'm like, this is plain, but you know what? That's great because that means I can wear it more frequently. I saw that 3 size range and I knew then, fuck out of here. And it's not even like it's a cheap shirt. It's an expensive shirt, but no size range at all. I'm going to try to pull up the shirt design so you can see what I'm talking about. I'll just have to go back to my string of emails from Super M to get the link. Man, there's so much stuff here. I'm sorry, I'm trying to find the link, but there, I have I have so many text messages from Super M recently that it's ridiculous. There's just so much stuff here. Have you pre-saved? Have you gotten all of our clues? Have you done this, that, and the other? What the hell? No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm sorry, I got distracted here. I'm just gonna go ahead and look it up on Twitter because apparently my text messages are only taking me to Spotify, and I'm not going to Spotify right now. Fuck out of here. Super M merch. Send me to the link, please. Okay, why is Twitter not giving me the merch? Okay. I can't get it. I'm sorry. I was trying to pull it up, but for some reason I can't find the link. So we'll just leave it as it is. But yeah, Super M. SM, can you please talk to Capital? Can you tell Capital to give us some more sizes? Can you do that? Can you do all that? I would really appreciate it. Thank you. Also, last thing, and then I'm done. Tell me why the album is going to be called Super One. The group is called Super M. Tell me why the fan name for people who are fans of Super M is Super M supporters. Super M supporters. Are we fucking jockstraps? What the hell? Super M supporters. I mean, don't get me wrong. If Taman needs support, I'll give him support. But Super M supporters? It was bad enough when we were calling all of ourselves spermazoids. But Super M supporters? I feel like something like wet and soggy thrown into the corner of the bathroom. I don't want that. I want something better. I want something better. And also, like, even if you take out the aspect of us being basically called underwear, that's a fucking long ass name. Like, straight up. That's really long. It would have made more sense if they had called us Super Ones. Like, that would have made a lot more sense. But to call us Super M supporters, I feel like a tampon. I don't want that. I don't want that. So anyway, that's my last kind of little thing, but just want to talk about that because it's just dumb. It's fucking dumb. I don't like it. Oh, it's my family. Sorry guys, my mom was sending me a bunch of pictures of my family, and it's so cute because she sent me a picture of my grandmother. So let's end this on a great note. You can see my grandmother. This is her right here. I don't know if it comes across very clear, but my grandmother is a beautiful 87, and she's smart and she's talented and she makes the best pound cake on the face of the earth, and today is her birthday and I love her very, very much. So that's a great way to end the live stream. Thank you guys for joining me. I know it was a little bit more low key. I've just been getting that way. Honestly, I'm just depressed. Like, real talk. I don't know how to say it. I'm depressed. And I don't see that depression lifting anytime soon. I am maintaining as much as I can, but the symptoms of my depression happen to be overeating, anxiety, and a constant fear that at any moment anything could happen. So what's the point of even trying? those are the symptoms of my current depression. But yeah, if you see it going like this, just know there are people in my life who know me, that love me, or checking up on me, and I'm cool. But I am dealing with something that has been building for a really long time, and I'm really just trying to maintain, guys. I'm in much the same boat the rest of you are, unable to pay for therapy and trying your hardest just to make it to the end of the next season. So I wish you all the best of luck. I wish me the best of luck, and I will talk to you guys later. And thank you for saying happy birthday to my Mimi. She's the absolute peach.